Get it right. Get it right.
Yeah, we're going. We're going. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing very well. Doing very well. Excited to be here. Thank you for asking me to be here. I'm honored, most definitely.
I appreciate you doing this on such short notice.
It's all
Um,
love. It's all love.
yeah, I was just I know we had we just did your show
Yeah, yeah.
and I asked you this morning if you do mind. You said you were kind enough to say yes, and you'll have to excuse me. I've got a little bit of a cold. That's why I might sound funny. And you were gracious enough to say yes, and then I was thinking about it. I was at the gym getting ready to exercise, and I was like, well, if we don't do this today, it's gonna, I've got like a lot going on the
Yeah.
next few days. We should jump on it. And I was
Understand.
really glad that you were able to. So thanks for being here, man.
For you, man, of course, man. Of course, I say I can move things around or whatever like that. It's all love. It's all love. Definitely.
How's your show going?
Everything's love. I'm having a ball doing it. I am having a great time doing it. I'm enjoying everybody that comes on. Everybody's been great. Everybody's been open and honest. And I just want to, make sure I just 95% of what I do, probably to 99% of it is going to be about music. And I just want to talk about music of all genres, from the big acts to the small acts to people who are associated with music. If you're associated with music in some way, I want to incorporate you in there, however it is. Yeah. So I'm having a ball. I really am. We're having a great time. I love running my mouth.
Yeah, so do I. How many episodes in are you?
Ooh. Well, my son and I have the Going In podcast, which I'm really pushing more towards him to let him do his thing over there, whatever he wants to do. But we did a few over there. We were on season 2 actually on that one. So over on the Live and Loud with the Lord, maybe I'm into 7, 8, something like that. I still have a few more. I have one tomorrow. I have one next Monday with Chris Aiken. And then I have a few more set up to other people. It's just they're coming in and I'm just having a ball, man. I'm telling you, it's beautiful. So before this month is over, who knows? I might have 15 or 20 of them. I don't know. I'm kind of doing 2 a week now. So I was just doing 1 a week, but now I'm doing 2 a week. So
I hear you. When you say second season, how exactly does that work? Because I know how in television a season works, but podcasting on our level, I know you're a little higher level than me, but how does a season work? Do you do it for like a certain amount of time and then step away from it, or
I don't know if the year just changed on Buzzsprout, because I do it on Buzzsprout also. So I have the audio, and then of course on YouTube we have the visuals. So I signed up with Buzzsprout, and I put both of them on Buzzsprout, and of course there's certain tiers to it what you can pay. They have the free, which they give you an hour or two, and then it goes up forever how long a month that you want to put content out there. So on the Going In podcast, this is season 2, and it lets you know that it's season 2. Season 2, this episode, whatever. So it's an awesome platform also.
I see. Yeah, I need to investigate this stuff more. I'm using StreamYard here, and because that when I did that podcast with Toomey and Chris, I asked them what they use, and they told me StreamYard, and so far I've been really happy with it. I mean, just being able to, for free have this, this ability to do what we're doing right now.
Right.
And, of course it's small at this point. I've only got a few subscribers and, a few views, a few comments, but it's like anything else, you got to just, I've learned this late in life, but you got to just push the boat out in the water. You just got to start,
100%.
Yeah. I've always had a problem with, second guessing myself when I wanted to attempt something. I thought, well, I have to have this and I have to have that. It has to be a certain level. Technically, I'm always, unfortunately, coming up with reasons to hesitate to start something, and it's like with the painting, finally I got sick of just saying one day I'm going to do this or one day I'm going to do that. And I finally just did it. And, thank God for the technology that we have now to be able to do this. I mean, it's really incredible when you think about it, we can do, you and I think we're right around the same age, are we?
Yes,
Or
we are. Yes, we are.
yeah.
I'll be actually in September. I'll be 55 this year.
Okay, yeah.
I'll be a little older than you.
We're like almost the exact age. I'll be 55 in September.
Oh,
How
really?
how did we not know that? What day?
I don't know. September 28th.
Okay, so I am 26 days older than you.
So you're on my niece's birthday. Let me tell you
Oh,
how
yeah?
great September is. I always say that September is the best month of the year for one reason. We are celebratory children. Our
Yep.
parents were making love either during Thanksgiving or Christmas time. So we were around the holidays. So it wasn't just, they're just doing what they're doing. No, they were happy when
That's
we were
good.
when we were conceived. But not my oldest sister, my second oldest sister is born on September 1st.
Oh, wow.
Her daughter's born on September 2nd. So is
Wow.
my cousin born on September 2nd. My mother's born on September 4th. My dad's born on September 9th.
Wow.
I don't know. So a host of people born on September 28th. My nephew's born on September 25th. And it continues on. It continues on. So that's why I say that we are truly special. It's that time. You count back those 9 months and you'll see.
It's crazy, man. I mean, I don't know why I've always kind of liked having a birthday in September. I don't know exactly why, except for the fact that it kind of makes for, it kind of works nicely into the whole beginning of the holiday season. It's like September's the birthday, and then it's like September's the birthday, October's Halloween, and then there's November.
That's right.
With Thanksgiving and then Christmas. It's like this whole nice little 4-month period towards the end of the year, where it's like all these events and stuff.
We're special, bro. We're special, man. We're special.
Yeah. So so we're the same age, basically, and I've got a new chair here that I'm getting used to. Well, actually, it's not new. The first 2 episodes I did, I was just sitting in a wooden chair, and man, sitting there for 2 to 3 hours sitting in a wooden chair was not comfortable. So I dug this old chair out of. I'm in my basement, and I dug this old chair out, and as you can see, it's a little worn,
It's comfortable, though. I bet you it's comfortable.
Definitely comfortable. So if I look a little too relaxed, that's
why.
Man.
That's what makes it good, man. We want to be relaxed. We're just having conversation, man. It's like I tell people, even though I say it's an interview, but now it's more like a conversation, man. I just want to be comfortable with everybody and just have a great conversation, and that's what's going on, man.
Yeah, and that's what's so great about this new technology and podcasting and everything. You can let people be excuse me, just like you said, just privy to conversations. And I think in our fast-paced world, we've lost the art of conversation, and
truly.
We're starting to get it back, with podcasting. And so I'm a little, I'm a little bit more interested in talking about, I hate to say politics, because talking about politics sounds so, it has this, I don't know, there's just something unappealing about saying I like to talk about politics, because generally speaking, politics is an ugly thing. But I'm fascinated by what forms people's opinions, why they believe what they believe. We're such complex and different creatures from each other. In the last few years, I've really started to learn how we see things so differently. It's like human beings interpret things so differently. It's amazing we can get along at all.
That is a true statement. That's a true statement.
And the fact that we do, I think, is fascinating, and I like to explore that. Now, you said that your podcast isn't really about politics. You like talking about music, but your entry into the music world was in a pretty political band.
For real? Is that true? Is that a true statement?
Yeah. So, I mean, what was that like for you? I mean, was that something you I mean, obviously you felt comfortable there, but was there any hesitation, or like thinking, man, I don't know if I want to be in such a a strongly political band or what?
Look at this guy right here, ladies and gentlemen. This dude right here, look at him. It's like he's been doing something, man. Look how he just weaved that in there to bring me in there anyway into a political. But I respect it, and I love it, and I love it. So I'm going to answer your question with ease. There's nothing to it. Honestly, I just like the way you segue into that. It was nice. It was nice.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, it really wasn't anything that I paid attention to. I just wanted to write music. I wasn't paying attention to Stuck Mojo as in they're political. You know, to me, that was like, even though I was part of it, I became the front man. I was just like, well, that's really kind of what Rich is doing. That's what I didn't even look at it like that. I just looked at it as great music, and I was going to enjoy the music. The first thing though was it's funny when Rich came up to my house here in Columbia, man, and he said, "Hey, open season." I remember him coming up and heard the music, and I was like, "Oh, this is incredible. This is unbelievable." And I just love music like that. So he was just like, "Yeah, man." So, it was him and Ed Aborn. And I don't think Sean and Jenny came that time. But anyway, they were like, "Hey, so we've got some of this right here, and we want you to put some of your stuff and put this together with this. And so I was like, okay. So he left it with me. By the time he got back home, I was done. And so I'm so visual with stuff. When I'm reading what he's talking about, when they were talking about Muslim stuff and this and that, I don't hate anybody. I'm all about love, man. I'm all about love. So I'm just like, wow. Because when he was first talking about it, I was just like, hey, man, you guys are kind of bugging right now. I said, I don't know if I'm going to say that, man. That's a little bit over there. And then he was like, no, I'm just kidding with you. We don't want to say that. We just want you to come up with something with this right here, with these words here, and see what we can do. And so I did. It was easy. By the time that he had gotten back down to Atlanta, I was done, man. I was just like, man, I'm ready to record this, man. I was just so geeked on the music. And it came so easy to me. And so anytime we would perform Open Season, of course, which was a massive song, for my tenure, man, it was great. And it was just received greatly. So, looking at, what you guys had been doing and you guys had some things about the president and all kinds, you guys had all kinds of stuff, but I didn't take it in that sense as I'm coming in here to be in this political band. I just came in as I'm an artist. I love music. I'm going to write and I'm going to have fun. I just think that my whole vibe was way different from what you guys were doing. And I think that Rich kind of more wrote toward how I was and what I did. So, which was love. And, he and I, we work together so well. He's on genius level with music. So, man, that was a long way of saying, man, it's political thing didn't really didn't affect me. I was just having fun and being a creative. That's what I was doing. Yeah. Well,
because Stuck Mojo, we were, there was controversy around what we were doing, especially the last album in particular. I mean, with the first three records, people knew that we, weren't afraid to, say things, and but it was really with Declaration, I think that we really started to be known as what some people would call, a right-wing band.
Gotcha.
And we definitely caught some flack for that, particularly being on a German label. I mean, they actually the Declaration album, they changed the cover. Excuse me. I'm trying not to sneeze. Yeah. For some reason, I've all of a sudden got to sneeze. They changed the cover and they changed like the order of some of the songs, at least the first song. And we had an intro that I think they left off of the European version because they thought it was too controversial. Wow. And so I mean, Declaration of a Headhunter got, it definitely ruffled some feathers, and that was the idea in a way. I know that Rich was in particular trying to push some buttons with people with that album,
Right.
And then of course, with a song like Open Season, so
yes.
you were wading into, you were potentially wading into dangerous waters. I mean, the video for Open Season,
It's on another level, man. Well, it was. I'm sorry for cutting you off. It was
No.
It was so crazy that the one that was the original one, it's not out there anymore. It's not out there. No, they took it down. I mean, it was at close to 1 million plus views or whatever it was, but it's gone. You know, there's some other ones out there, but they took it down, I guess, because they said it was too. You know how things are in this world now. Things have changed. Yeah. So
which is which is crazy. When I was talking to when I did the podcast with Chris, with Chris Aiken, the first one,
right,
and he was asking me about where I was going to post it, and my thoughts were, well, I'm going to put it on YouTube. I'm going to put it everywhere I can. I want to build this thing. And he said that well, you gotta understand that with YouTube, you may get a strike against you. You may get it taken down. And I thought, well, I'm such small potatoes right now as a podcast. I mean, I can't even imagine that anything I say is going to be on their radar.
Right.
And it's so far so good. Yeah. But he said, that he had gotten like a video taken down because they said something about COVID or whatever. And so I'm still just trying to wrap my head around this whole idea that, these platforms like YouTube and Facebook and everything are just selectively, taking things down. How can you claim to be a platform, if you're going to pick and choose? Because the whole idea of a platform is that you can't pick and choose. If you're a town square is supposed to be the kind of place where anyone can say anything, any idea can be expressed, and and they're taking stuff down. Now I can understand taking things down that subscribe to a certain set of criteria that just about anybody could agree with. Like you don't you could understand why YouTube would take down anybody attempting to post child pornography or snuff films or things like that, or something that actually specifically defames a person or something like that.
Indeed.
But they're taking down stuff that they just think is controversial, or misinformation. That term just absolutely drives me up the wall. Anybody that would use the term misinformation in a serious way, I just can't. Like,
but there's so many people out there. There are so many people out there. My quote, Lord Nelson's quote. Let me say this. This is my quote. The world is not crazy. It's the people in it. The mind state of people. And just like you said, people have so many different perspectives and opinions on what's going on. It's amazing that we can all get together. There's a lot of times I can be with some of my best friends that are brothers with me, and I just look at them like, are you crazy? Do you really believe that? Is that how you really see it? I've always believed that I'm a person who sees both sides. I think that I have the ability to look at both sides. And then in my mind, I know what is true and right and proper. Morally, I feel like, well, morally, this isn't right. Or, that's just simply wrong. We just know right from wrong. When, the fundamental, the foundation of everything, we know what's right and what's wrong. Now, people take that to the extremes over here, over there. I just kind of, stay indifferent with things. I'm not trying to get deep into stuff as long as it doesn't affect me. If it doesn't affect me, my wife always says, like, your heart rate is always so. I said, because I don't let crazy stuff affect me. What I deem as crazy. I don't let people who don't have anything to do with me paying my bills or taking care of my family. I don't let those people bother me at all. I smile always. I smile and I just move on because I'm the king of my household. This is my world where I am. Now, when I go out into the big world, I have to show respect and restraint to people out there. But when I'm back at home, this is me. This is where I live. This is my castle, and I'll do what I want to do here. But in the bigger world, I'm just chill and so what I was saying, once again, the world is not crazy. it's the people in it. I really believe that. It's the people in the
Yeah.
world. Great.
Well, yeah, that's for sure. People are people are work, man. I mean, and I wish I was more like you in that I could just kind of just not worry about it. And I mean,
Right.
it's not like I spend all my time and drive myself crazy,
Uh-huh.
worrying about the things people do or say, but I'm not going to I'm not going to say that I don't even think about it, because I do. I mean, there's something about me that's interested in
I got
what motivates people to behave in certain ways,
Right. Right.
And like one thing I was going to say, like getting back to the whole idea of uh the quote, I guess the fight on from their perspective, the social media
Mm-hmm.
giants, the tech giants, their supposed fight against the idea of misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
The way I look at it is most information is misinformation.
Okay. Okay.
Like almost all of it is. It's like the truth.
Yeah.
That truth is not this thing that just is this thing that makes itself obvious.
Right.
Truth requires uh investigation and analysis and discovery,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so much information. I mean, like, you're wearing a hat right now, that's information. I'm
Right.
sitting in a chair, that's information.
Right.
You have a lamp in the background, that's
Right.
information.
Right. Indeed.
And the fact that the earth is or the material world is composed of atoms, that's information. I mean, so I mean, we're so bombarded with information,
We are.
and that it's amazing that we can even comprehend the world at all, really. And so I'm just saying, when it comes to like world events, things that concern people,
Mm-hmm.
things that they are interested in because of how it may affect their lives, um there's so much to know about any number of those things, and most of it is probably from any one person's perspective not quite correct. Like anything you see on the news, anything that anybody tells you about something that's going on in the world, most likely a good bit of it is not, at least not quite true.
Right.
you
Right.
know it's
Some
like,
truth, baby. Yeah, I got you.
so I think it's important to look at it as not that the truth is something that just makes itself known,
Mm-hmm.
and people with bad intent are trying to cover up the truth with misinformation, and what we need to do is guard against misinformation.
Right.
No, it's the truth is not easy to discover. It has to be, you really have to dig for it, and what you're digging through is misinformation. And who's the person who's going to sit on high
To
and
let you know what's right, what's wrong.
tell us what's misinformation and what's true? It's like, truth is something that we need to discuss. Like what you and I are doing right now is attempting to discover the truth about something,
Right.
the
Right.
world, even if it's uh even if it's something trivial. We're trying to, you and I having a conversation. That's how you discover what's true or not.
Right.
And who's got the right to sit here and say, well, what we're saying, what you have said in this interview or podcast, what I've said, well, that's something that other people shouldn't hear,
Mm-hmm.
because it's misinformation. And
Right.
that, so when people just use that term so casually, it makes me nuts.
I got you. Well, it's something kind of like with me watching the episode with Fran, which was amazing.
Oh,
Amazing.
thank you.
Amazing. I'm telling you, it was amazing. Because I had watched that the documentary. I remember watching it when it first came out. And of course, I didn't know. And I was just like, man, so I'm just sitting here listening to you guys, and and then all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute. Did he just say? After talking about all the music people and stuff like that, I was just into it so deeply. And even when you guys got into the political stuff and like, a lot of the stuff he was saying, I was just like, I get him. I'm there. I'm really, middle of the road kind of thing. But certain things you said were love, certain things that he said was, really love. But what he said though is that these social media platforms, they're private companies still. They're still really private companies. So when we go and we put ourselves out there on it, it's always hey, these are the rules and the regulations of what they do. This 5,000 page, I'm, exaggerating, of course, but it's 5,000 page thing that you have to read through and say like, hey, okay, this is what's going on. Because I know there's been some stuff that I've had on Instagram, not Instagram, on TikTok. I put a few things on TikTok and they were like, oh, they took this down because this. And I said to myself, like, what? It wasn't even anything to it, and I've seen some stuff on there that's so ridiculous. I was just like, why would they take this down? It made no sense to me. But it could just take somebody going out there and saying like, hey, Frank Fontsere he said this, or they go complain about something. Who knows? I don't know. I really don't try to get that deep into it. I just know that social media is entertainment, and that's how I take it. I don't allow it to. I'm out here doing my thing, though. I enjoy going out here, seeing things, or whether I'm talking with friends or whatever like that. But I enjoy putting my content out there. I used to overthink it a lot, but now I'm just at a point to where it's like, I'm not worried about if you like me or not. It doesn't matter. It goes back to the love of my family is the most important thing to me. That matters to me. I have very, very close friends that I've known for 40 years. I love them. They're like brothers and sisters to me. That's just the way it is. So now mind you, as you said before, with information, if something comes out there that affects me, that's something out there in the bigger world, of course I'm paying attention to it. Of course I'm looking at it. But I do it in my own way. As Bonz said, like he said, man, you're always politically correct, man. We've had some great conversations. He said, you're going to stay politically correct. I was like, it's just who I am, man. And everybody knows that. They're just like, man, you're a politically correct dude. I was like, I 100%, that's who I am. Now,
really,
do I like to have fun? Can I wild out? Yes, indeed. I can get into some of the most heated conversations about things when I'm really passionate about things. But one thing that I always do is that, just like you were speaking, I was listening and I was processing the information that you were giving me, because I believe that I can see both sides. I'm a very empathetic person. I care about people, even if I don't know them. I see stuff on television. It's like, man, that bothers me. But there's a lot of people that I know, those things don't affect them at all. So really, I just had to control me, and I'm the gatekeeper of me. So I know when to open that gate and let people in and let certain things in. Otherwise, it's like a big Michael Jackson fence. I close it and I'll peep over it, like with Home Improvement. What was my man's name? Wilson. I'm looking over the fence like that, but I stay away from it because it really doesn't have anything to do with me. But I see it, but it's not affecting me. So I'm just like, hey, and I don't know if that's good in some ways, bad in some ways, but just a lot of times I'm not getting involved in something that is really your fight. It's really not affecting me. That's your fight, and I'm gonna let you fight it however you want to fight it.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think for the most part, that's a good way to be. I wish I was maybe more like that. Yeah. I think, maybe sometimes I worry too much about things that I can't control, and things that don't affect me. I'm interested though, when you say you're politically correct, what do you mean? What do you mean you're politically correct?
Meaning like, if you came to me and you said, okay, just say like you and Fran had a conversation. Once again, great conversation you guys had. So you guys may be talking about a certain topic. I'm just going to be in the middle. When I say politically correct, I'm just going to stay in the middle. That's my politically correct. I'm just going to stay I'm not trying to alienate this side or that side, because I don't have a dog in the fight like that. I just don't. That just really, I'm just like, I'm not worried about that one. Just once again, as I say, whether I let my gate open and invite it in, or not. I'm watching, I'm listening, but I'm just like, that's not big enough or important enough to me. That's not a priority to me to where I'm going to say, like, I have to speak on it. So I just, and once again, like I was saying, Bonz and I were speaking. I can't remember what we were speaking about, but he was talking about certain things. And I was like, man, that's wild. I just laugh. I laugh a lot. I was just like, really? I was like, wow, man, that's crazy, man. Okay. And he's just like, yo, politically correct ass you just want. I was just like, man, I'm not getting into that. There's nothing to do with me, man. I said, I'm going to let you roll with that one. I'm going to let you do what you do. And that's fine with me. That's fine with me. Yeah.
I've always thought of being politically correct more like more the opposite. You know, like if somebody's politically correct, it's like they're hypersensitive to things, you know,
I hear you. Yeah.
as opposed to being neutral. Because like what you're describing to me is just being neutral or
Indifferent.
not indifferent, but just, you know, empathetic, understanding, you know, taking a position of, well, it's not up to me to tell anybody else how to think, you know.
That's true. Yeah.
And see, so because I don't see that as, I see political correctness as being just the opposite. You know, to me, the idea of being politically correct is somebody who has no problem telling you what you must think because it's the right way to think. It's the it's the politically correct way to think.
See what you saying that, which now when you're saying that, once again, as I said, I process things. So I can understand that. I can see your point of view on that, you know, but then I'm still looking at the other side as being politically correct. To me is either side. I'm just in the middle, you know. I'm not trying to alienate anybody. I'll say it again, alienate anybody on either side. So I'm just being good. But I hear you 100%. I really hear you. I can see that. I'm very visual, and I pictured that. So I get that. That makes all the sense in the world, to be honest with you. You know?
Yeah, I see what you're saying as far as like I have strong opinions about things, but you know, if I disagree with somebody about any one thing, I'm not going to take the position, well, you know, well, you should think this way. Even if I think they're wrong, you know, you're free to think whatever you want to think. I'm not here to tell somebody, you know, that they shouldn't think one, you know, this, that, or the other.
Right.
But, or at least I'm not going to try to force that on them, like force it down their throat, you know, and get in their face and wag my finger at them and tell them, you know, you're not thinking about this the right way. Even though,
come on, man.
But I may think that. I may think, you know, I think what you're being is more tactful than anything else.
I listen, the words that we're using, the adjective to describe or adverb, I got you. But here's the deal. I'm going to tell you now, we're talking, I'm going to be open and honest. I always say that I'm 99.9% correct. So many people get mad with me when I say that. Now I call me Mr. 99.9% right. And they get mad with me when I say that because I usually speak about things that I'm confident about, that I know about. Otherwise, I'm going to listen more. Now, if you and I are having a conversation and I know I'm just really confident about what I'm talking about, I'm like, Frank, are you out of your mind? You know what you're talking about? You have no idea. And now I'm going to be a little belligerent and arrogant. I can go there. Most definitely. I can really go there. And it really pisses people off. Now, that's the other side of me, you know, that comes out, though. But I'm still respectful. I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to listen to what you say. And then I'm going to allow you to play yourself if it's ridiculous. Because if you say something ridiculous to me, there's going to be a problem with it. I'm going to probably call you out on it if you say something ridiculous to me that makes no sense. You know, I'll say this. I had a good friend of mine, another music guy. He's talking about the flat earth and all this like that. And I'm just listening to him. And I'm just like, you know, we don't agree on this or whatever. I was just like, man, you have every right to feel that way. But what I am is a positive person. I'm a positive person. And I see a lot of negativity out there. So if you and I are having conversation and you come and you say like, hey, man, well, what do you think about this Yeti cup right here? And I'm just like, well, you know, it's nice. It works for me. I don't know. It's a Yeti company. It's a business or whatever like that. I'm drinking out of it. I'm good. But there's other people who are like, man, I hate the top of this, man. Why is this like this? It's just like this. I was like, it's just something to drink out of. But they can't help it that no matter what you talk about, they're going to say something negative first and foremost. That stuff is what kills me. That just makes me go like, is everything negative? Every single thing? Everything? I was just like, can you just say something positive just one time when somebody says something about it? You know, there's a lot of people that think the worst first. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. That's how I was raised. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Now, you will show your true colors soon enough. You will. You'll show your true colors soon enough. And then that's when I remove myself from all the madness that you're doing. But now, I can jump in that pool and swim with you just to have some entertainment. I could definitely do that with ease. With ease, I'm really good at it. But you know, the older I've gotten, I just really stay away from madness. I remove myself from situations when I think they're going in a direction that I don't want to be a part of. I just remove myself from it. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm good.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's definitely a smart way to be. Yeah. Here's the thing though. It's like if I'm in a situation, you know, like where I'm interacting with somebody and I think, okay, this person, like, there's just something wrong here. I don't know what it is, but like you said, stay away from it. I've got no problem, like, you know, getting out of a situation with somebody where I feel like, okay, I've just got no good options here. This person's crazy, you know, but I'm still fascinated, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think to myself, all right, well, I can't have a relationship with this person. I can't do business with this person, what have you. But I'd still love to do this, what we're doing, you know, because like I said, I'm just fascinated by, you know, why would you possibly think that? You know, honestly, like, what is your process? How did you arrive at that conclusion? You know, like the whole, like you mentioned having a conversation with a flat earther, you know?
Right.
And to me, I would like, you might have to tell me who they are because I'd love nothing better to have that conversation.
He's from Atlanta too, and I love to mess with him. And sometimes he gets so mad with me. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was actually listening to Jericho was having one of his podcast episodes was with a flat earther, and I was listening to him explain his point of view as to why he thought the earth was flat.
Right.
And I just wanted so badly. I would have like, man, I'd give anything to be in the room right now because it's just like, so that kind of belief system is so fascinating to me. Partly because, I mean, it's like you ask me, Frank, is the earth flat or round? I would say, well, it's round. Yeah. But here's the thing. I don't know it's round.
Right.
I'm not a scientist. I can't prove that the earth is round.
Right.
It's just one argument makes more sense to me than the other one does. Right. Like and that. A lot of people's defenses for why they think the earth is flat just don't make a lot of sense to me. And they seem so resistant to argumentation. Yeah. And I'm just like, I find that it's like playing a game. I love it. It's so interesting to me. And yeah, I don't know why, but like I said, I'm not a scientist. I know the arguments. It's like I could maybe memorize the formula, memorize the scientific arguments for why we know that the earth or believe that the earth is a globe rather than a flat plane. But I would just be repeating stuff that I've heard. I've never studied physics. I've never studied astrophysics. I don't know. And to me, there's no, I grew up being told that the earth was round.
Right.
Okay. Right. I don't see any compelling reason not to believe it, you know? Yeah. And the people who don't, the people who think it's flat, it's like, okay, well, why do you think that? And when they give me their arguments, I'm like, okay, well, here's what you're not taking into account from what I can tell.
Right.
And so Yeah, and they when people just persist in that, I'm just like, I don't know. I just find it interesting. And one thing, there's a documentary. I don't know if it's on Netflix. I can't remember where it is. I think I saw it somewhere. It's a documentary called I think it's called Beyond the Curve or
Mm-hmm.
Behind the Curve, something like that.
Okay.
And it's a documentary about the whole flat Earth movement.
Okay.
And it's a great documentary. I'd highly recommend watching it.
Okay.
Um, and the guy who they kind of feature in the documentary, who's like this kind of, he has a podcast about the earth being flat, and they
Mm-hmm.
have he has a lot of followers, and it's a fairly decent sized movement, the
Right.
whole flat earth movement.
Right.
And they showed this scientific kind of town hall
Mm-hmm.
meeting where people were talking about the whole flat earth phenomenon, and they were having all these scientists were having kind of a good laugh at all the flat earthers, and
Right.
how silly they are and everything. And this one guy made what I thought was a really good point,
Uh-huh.
in that he got up and he was like, listen, don't be so quick, even though they're not correct,
Mm-hmm.
scientifically their theories are not correct,
Right.
but don't be so quick to have your fun at people who
Right.
have different views than you,
Right. Right.
even if you can kind of use the scientific method to demonstrate that what they believe is maybe even silly. He said
Mm-hmm.
there's something valuable in people who are willing to kind of think outside the established norms and think outside the box, because this is what scientists are supposed to do. They're
Right.
supposed to question narratives.
Right.
They're
Right. Right.
supposed to Science itself is supposed to question established knowledge. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, just because this one particular thing they're not getting right, you know, don't be so harsh and so willing to like push those people aside and dismiss them as
Right.
crazy or whatever,
Right.
because there's value in there's value in thinking sometimes kind of thoughts that most people would consider crazy. That's because I think every scientific discovery first emerged as an idea that most people would have dismissed as nuts.
True. True.
And it's only through the scientific method that it was later determined, there's something to this. Now, I don't think there is something to flat Earth. And,
Right.
uh, when somebody says the Earth is flat, my first, instinct is not to just say, "Oh, you're an idiot, you're a nut, you don't know what you're talking about."
Right.
My first instinct is like questions occur to me, like, okay, well, how, it's flat. Describe for me flat in what way? I mean, it's like, so it's a flat plane that we live on top of. What's underneath it? You
Right.
know?
I just had a listen. I just had a conversation last night, and my guy, he made the younger guys so mad. There was a younger guy with us too. The younger guy was just like, I can't even talk to you. He's just like, I'm trying to understand you, but you keep going from here to there to this to that, and I'm enjoying it. As you said, now I'm going to
Yeah.
say it. Like you, I love to know. I don't engage all the time, but in my mind, I'm listening. And I'm like, man, what is driving this individual to even think like that? But I love to
Mhm.
get that information. So I
Yeah.
love for them to talk. Keep talking. I
Yeah.
love it. And it makes me laugh. And I enjoy having those conversations at times. And then there's times where something that I always do when I meet new people, I like to ask a question or two. I might ask you one of the most off the wall questions to see how you're going to relate to this, to see how you react to what I ask you. I might come and say like, "Hey, Frank, man, the Quick Trip, man. What's the best drink that you like in the Quick Trip?" Just
Mhm.
something you would not just like. What are you talking about? The Quick Trip, a drink, well, whatever. We're here to talk about music. And you talk about the Quick Trip. Well, what do you eat those hot dogs in there or whatever? I'm just trying to get you to a certain point to where you're going to open up to be like, okay, this guy isn't a crazy lunatic or whatever like that. I mess with people, but I love to have conversations with people about that. I'm going to listen to them, but I'm going to ask them questions because I definitely want to know what you're thinking. I do find entertainment in it. I cannot lie to you. I 100%, as you said, you like, what are they talking about? What makes them think this way? And
Mhm.
do you have I gave him a coin and he was showing me, he was like, it's a disc and it's standing up like this. And and he spun it and everything. And I was just like, man, that's really wild. I said, you really believe that? And we've had this conversation so many times before. And I'm just like, I love to see him go through it of how he believes it. And then I'm just like, I don't know if you're messing with me or not. I said, we just don't think the same. And I said, hold on a second. So I got on my phone and I pulled up Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a thing about flat earthers and the thing about his, earth round or whatever like that. So he went and said like, well, here, see, when you have the eclipse, this and this, that, and it shows this and this and that. And so I said, so what do you think about that? Man, he didn't know what he's talking about, man. I was just like,
yeah.
I said, is everything, no matter what, even if somebody proves something to you, it's not going to be right to you. I said, so there's no need to even have a conversation with you. And that's when I just say, like, I'm going to leave you alone, man, because either you're effing with me,
right.
it's still funny to me, or you're effing with yourself.
And that's, I hate that kind of dismissiveness.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if you're having a serious conversation with somebody, you should never default to, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Or, oh, whoever made that argument doesn't know what they're talking about. It's like, that's not an argument. You know, just dismissing somebody as a nut or a kook is not an argument. And that's,
right.
You know, that's why I liked what that guy had to say about not being dismissive of people, you know, because that's just what he's doing as well. You know, like, well, here's an astrophysicist making the case. What do you think? You know, and if you just say, "Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about," it's like I asked you what you think. You know, like it doesn't take thinking to say somebody. You know, I could say so and so doesn't know what they're talking about regarding anything. You know, that's not an argument. It's like if you want to make your case, make your case.
Right.
Whoever this guy is, I want to have him on. So, you know, let's see if we can make that happen.
And he's a smart guy. He's thorough at the stuff that he does, man. But he just makes me laugh. And I really, once again, I'm pretty good at poking the bear. I'm really good at poking the bear and then kind of getting my way out of things. That's kind of you asked Bonz. Bonz was like, I always thought you were going to be a comedian doing this or whatever like that. I had no thoughts about being that, but I always mess with people and I always laugh with people. And I always tell my wife and my kids, I said, be glad you caught me now, who I am now. I said, because back then, I said, I'm going to mess with you just because I found enjoyment out of it. I don't do it as much as I used to, but we could get together and once we got real comfortable, and then you would probably look at me like, hey, man, leave me alone. Stop messing with me. I can take you I can push you almost to where you're like, you know, call you Cliff because you're on the edge.
Yeah, I'm just the opposite. I don't like doing that because I don't like it done to me. I don't like people messing with me.
Then I'll pull you back and be like, hey, man, no, I'm just joking with you, man. It's all love, man. I apologize. You know, I'm just having fun.
As long as you let them off the hook at some point, then it's okay. You know, because it's
of course.
Yeah, I had a discussion with somebody one time, and you know, about something. I can't remember what it was, but he tried to claim that he was messing with me. You know. And I was just like, no, I'm sorry. You're not going to sit here and lose an argument and make such dumb points and then try to say, oh, I was just messing around. It's like, no, you weren't.
You believe that.
You were serious. You were trying to make a case and you fell on your face and made a fool of yourself. And now you're trying to save face by saying, you know, like, because I was starting to get I was getting a little worked up, which is, you know, not, you know, admittedly not the right way to handle that kind of thing. Right. And he was like, I just love messing with Frank. And I was like, dude, I said, you don't have the capacity to mess with me. Don't even go there.
So see what you just said right there about you don't have the capacity. Me, I know I say things that will just man, just make people so crazy. And it's just the art of doing it. I've done it for so long that
Right.
really a lot of times that I won't engage in things. I'll think it. I have a real good friend of mine. I call him Cabo San Lucas. And he's probably, my wife is the funniest person I know. Cabo San is a close second. He makes me laugh at the things that he says. And I know that we've gone back and forth. And I was just like, oh, man, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. I said, he's kind of getting to me. I don't let people get to me like that. I was just like, woo, he's good. And then I was like, well, I got to do something to get to him. I am entertained by the way people react to things. I'm entertained by it. So you can be the toughest guy, the wildest guy. I'm going to sit there. I may not say a word. I may just look at you. You're like, why you keep looking at me? Oh, no reason. I'm just paying attention. Why? But why are you paying attention and not? Because they know who I am on this side. But a lot of my friends will say this right here. They'll like, you'll hold a joke so well. We don't know if you're being serious, if you're joking or not. And it's like, you've held a joke for days, or you've been with us for like hours. And then you're like, hey, man, I'm sorry, man. You know what I said about this right here, man? I apologize, man. And they're just like, why would you just hold on to that? I said, because I've been entertained this whole time of you thinking this way or going through this. I don't want anybody to hurt or anything like that, but I really can entertain myself. I really can. I have a good time, man. So anything anybody says, you know, whether it's political, whether it's social, this, religious, whatever, I can have a ball with it all. And I will ask questions that really usually gets the people. They're like, just like, man, why are you asking me that? Like, man, because this is fun. Because I want to know what you're going to say about it. Go ahead. I'm sorry, you were going to say something.
No. I was going to say, I predict that you were probably a popular figure growing up, like in school and high school. You seem like that because I wasn't, you know, I mean, it's not like I didn't have any friends. I had my circle of friends, but, you know, I was, you know, I kind of got picked on and, you know, things like that. I grew up awkward, you know, I still feel awkward a lot of the time. And
really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think I grew up. So I had a lot of friends in the military families and stuff. We were all really close. And we had fun. Of course, we talked about each other, you know, we clowned each other. And it kind of just made you tough, man, because we really talked about each other. I mean, the worst thing that we could do. So I just got to a point where I didn't take it, you know, it wasn't offensive to me. But when we, you know, school-wise, people will say to me today, like say if you and I went to school together and so you see me and you hadn't seen me in a long time, the first thing people usually do when they see me is they start smiling. And I'm like, and then they'll say something like, man, you used to do this, you used to do this. And I'll just look at them like, what? Really? Is that how you guys see me? Because I really don't remember a lot of that stuff, I guess, because I was just in it doing it. And it wasn't anything crazy to me. They were just like, yeah, you were just crazy where you just laugh with people and you just whatever. And I'm just like, really? I said, oh, man, well, you used to mess with me. And I was just like, wow. And some of my really closest friends, they were like, yeah, you used to F with people a lot, man. A lot. I don't know.
I was the one that got effed with, so that's probably that's probably why I have a little bit of an aversion to you know, that's why I probably don't try to, like, you know, mess with people or whatever. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I you know, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that or anything like that. It's just not part of my personality, probably because I was the one who got messed with a lot, you know. So
Frank, I'm sorry about that, man.
No, don't be sorry. It's fine.
Nah, I mean, because people mess with me also. You know, people mess with me, but I was always, if you said something to me, I'm going to say something back to you. You know, I don't care if you were the biggest, toughest, roughest. It didn't even matter to me. You know, if you clown me, I'm going to clown you. Because I never plan on putting myself in danger.
Yeah.
Even if it's the toughest guy, it's just like, he still looked at me. He was like, he's just a clown, man. He's just gonna laugh and clown or whatever like that. That kept me out of a lot of things because I came close, as I say, putting people on that edge, call them cliff. They were like, that's it. That's it. And I'm just like, and here it is. I'm joking, but they're serious. So now I have to say like, hey, let me pull this back a little bit because this individual, I don't want to fight you or anything like that. I'm just having fun. And they're ready to kill me.
So you found yourself in some situations where it's like, okay, I might have pushed this a little too far.
Yes, many times.
Oh,
many times, man. But no, it's just all love, Frank. I really respect everybody's perspective. I respect your way of thinking or how you're feeling about things. I can, as I say, you know, my empathy level is pretty high, I believe. And so if you're saying something like, hey man, this happened to me or whatever like that, I'm so visual. I picture it. I picture myself being a part of it. And so it hurts me also. You know, it really does. And so there's so many people that's like, I don't even know why. Why do you care about that? You don't even know this person. I was like, I don't have to know them to feel their pain or see that they're going through something. It's just who I am, you know. It's just who I am.
I think I'm the same way. I think I feel other people's pain, even though, you know, it may not come across that way because I'm also kind of a little closed off and analytical.
Yeah, you said you're an introvert. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an introvert. And also I think it's it can be kind of a defense mechanism. You know, it's like I think I can understand other people's point of view, you know, and if it's a painful one, you know, I don't want to experience that pain, so I have to kind of close myself off to it.
I got you.
And maybe that's why, you know, I'm not inclined to, you know, like, you know, because I think of like when you're talking about messing with people, I picture that's why I asked you if you were popular in school. You know, I picture the popular kids, the confident kids, the kids who grew up. I hate the word privileged, but you know, at least privileged by, you know, their personalities and that, you know, they didn't feel they didn't go through their high school years or their growing up years feeling like they were going to be the butt of people's jokes or whatever, you know, so they had that kind of confidence, and playing games with people like that was a source of fun for them, you know, like, because I'm sure you remember in high school the kids who were like really picked on, you know, like the ones who actually suffered, you know. And
I'm sorry for laughing, but I'm picturing certain individuals. Yes.
No, it's okay. And you know, I can picture a couple of people from my past that, you know, that I didn't hang around with. They weren't part of my social circle because I was, you know, in the high school, in the hierarchy of high school, I certainly wasn't at the top. I wasn't at the very bottom. You know, I did have friends. It's not as if high school was a hellscape for me.
Right.
And but I do remember a few kids from my high school who probably high school might have been a true hellscape for them because they were awkward to the point where they got bullied, you know, kind of horribly actually. And you know, people like that don't tend to they don't tend to like mess with people for fun.
Right.
You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm not even to be honest, I'm not even sure where I was going with that.
Frank got me going back down my history, thinking about things like, man, was I a bad guy? Was I a bad guy? I really had fun. I just like to laugh, man, just like I do now. I laugh a lot when I'm around people that I enjoy their company with. I just want it to be free and fun. I don't want to get too serious. Serious. And so I really, like, if I'm with Bonz, I'm with you, I'm with Rich or whatever like that, I'm going to smile and laugh and embrace you in the warmest of ways. That's just who I am. I just want to have a good time, man. But I to be honest with you, I was just thinking about this one kid named Johnny. Johnny in class, man, in English class. And they used to make songs about Johnny, you know. Johnny got a new pair of slacks and all kinds of stuff. But Johnny was an artist. Johnny was an artist, and he could draw like amazing things. And we kind of clowned him in class. He was one of those kids that he was definitely a rocker. He was definitely wore black every day. He definitely didn't say much in class. You never knew what was going on with this kid. So I'd always just kind of watch him, and he sat beside me. And then I just remember him drawing in his pad. Dude with a dagger stabbing it into another head, somebody else's head, blood flying everywhere. And I looked at that right there, and I was just like, I think this is time to be real cool with Johnny. So I started talking to him because to me, I was like, even though we would clown him somewhat, I was like, there's no telling what he has going on in his world because we all have a story. So I may not know what's going on at home with you. He may not know what's going on home, with me at home. I know that I didn't have the best, situations. So I don't know what's going on with him. And that goes for anybody, race, religion, color, creed. I don't care who you are. You can act like this is this, but you may have the worst situation at home. I don't know. You may have the best. I don't know. But anyway, I was just like, let me go ahead and just say, like, Johnny, from that point on, I was just like, hey, man, I don't know what you got going on, but it was cool. So every time he come in class, I'm like, Johnny, what's going on? My whole because I don't want anybody to feel bad. I don't want to make somebody really feel bad from something I've said. Now, if we're all just joking and I get you real with a good one, you may get me with a good one. It's just all a part of the joking. But I don't want anybody to really feel terrible about something that I've said to them that makes them feel less than. Do I think I'm a great individual? Of course I do. I always,
you're not alone in that, man.
Well, this is what I tell people. So I'm being honest, but I'm joking. So I always tell people, I was like, God is so high above everybody. God is everywhere. God, this is God. And I said, then I'm here. And then you guys are below that. But the look on their faces, and I'm really doing it for a reaction, and the look on their faces, they were like, do you really believe it? But when I'm telling them, I'm not laughing. I'm being so serious. And they look at me like, man, what is wrong with you? But I'm just having a good time with people. Anyway, man. It's like right now, I'm having a great time.
I should probably take a cue from you and be more like that, not be afraid to just kind of got
to enjoy this life we live, man.
Yeah.
They say we only have one to live. That's a true statement, man. We only have this one to live. And I've had to grow. When you and I were having our conversation, I listened a lot to what you were saying. And I know a lot of the things that you were saying, I felt that way, previously, probably not too many years ago, but I just got to a point to where I was just like, stop worrying about all that stuff, man. You can't control it. That was my big thing. I can't control that. I have to worry about my family. I have to worry about my wife and my children. Now they're all grown, and now I get to do a podcast freely. I don't really have to worry about anything. It's all love. I do have a grandson now, but it's all beautiful, man. Life is beautiful, and I want it to be. Everything's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect for anybody. So I go through things. I go through things all the time, but I do my best to insulate myself from what I consider madness.
Yeah,
it's madness to me. I'm putting up that insulation, man. I'm just like I said, man. I'm looking out that peephole. I'm looking over my Michael Jackson fence in my mind. And you're not getting into this Never Land, man. You're not getting in here. It's not going to happen, man. So,
how old were you when you became a father?
I was young.
Yeah.
I was young, man. I was young.
How many kids do you have?
3.
Wow.
Same woman. Yes. We're still together. We've been together the whole time. We're, our ups and downs, and You know, she's had to put me in a headlock and throw me out the window and stuff. You know, but we love it. We genuinely love each other, even though we can get on each other's nerves because we are really, really totally different people. We are different people, man.
How so?
She believes in certain things. She's more on the she's gonna say like, why are you talking about? See, now even in my mind, like nobody gets to me more than my wife gets to me. She gets to me.
See, that's why you're here, man. This is the stuff I want to hear about.
But she's the greatest, and I love her, and I would do anything in this world for her. But you know, kind of like when I'm around my wife and my kids, I'm a totally different person. Like right now, this is the real me. This is who I am. 100%. Yes. But when I'm around my wife and my kids, it's like sometimes I feel like I'm being judged. And all I want is I want her approval of the things that I'm doing. I want her approval because she's my wife. And I look at it, and no disrespect to my dad or anything like that. I just never wanted to be the kind of man that my dad was in his younger days. He was a wild dude. I didn't want to be that guy. So I just gave a certain kind of love. I just wanted her to have everything that she wanted to have or whatever. All I know is my wife is one of the greatest people in the world to me, but she has her opinion. She's going to let it be known. And she'll be on that side, and I'm over here on this side like, man, you got to think about what you're saying. And she's just like, man, I don't care what you're saying. This is what I think. And I'm just like, wow. I'm not going to get too deep because she goes, you know, right now, man, I feel her looking at me and so. But I really, when I get with you guys.
I'd like to talk to her too.
Oh, my goodness, man. She listen. She wouldn't do it. She wouldn't do it. But I'm going to say if we all got together. No,
she wouldn't do it?
No, not. She wouldn't come on thing and do it. No, but if we were all in a room together, you'd find her one of the most engaging, funny individuals because she's hilarious. She's hilarious. And she can really take that dagger and get you with it. Her whole family is hilarious because may my father-in-law and mother-in-law rest in peace, but my father-in-law was a super, super clown. He was hilarious, but I enjoyed things like that. I could just sit and watch and laugh. Yeah, man.
Excuse me. Sorry. When you say that, like you saw like what your dad was doing and you wanted to, you know, is that something he taught you, or did you just learn that from observing his behavior?
What I've done is I watch. I'm a voyeur in a sense of life and people. So I may be around you and your family, and I'm looking at your family dynamics. I'm saying like, man, what Frank does here with his wife and his child, that's beautiful. I'm going to incorporate that into my life. I think that's a beautiful thing. So with my friends and the families, I took great things from the families as I was growing up that I may not have had in my own house. And I took those things and I incorporated into my family and how I wanted to be as a man and as a father and as a husband. Now, have I failed at some things? Of course I have. I'm not perfect. But those things are really, I just wanted to be the best. And what was so amazing is that when I got married, my dad, he just stopped everybody. He said, I want everybody to come in the room. So both families. So everybody's in the house, and he brought both. He said, I want you guys to know something. And he said, my son has taught me how to be a better father. And I was just like, yo, wow. That was really deep. But you know, the man that he was to the man that he is now is just, he's just a cool dude, man. And he's a bishop now. He's just changed. And he's always been cool now. He's always been cool. But he's just a different guy. And he's my father, and I'll respect him for life, you know, regardless of stuff that has happened, you know. But once again, you learn once you get in relationships about how hard a relationship is. As I tell everybody, it's a whip. It's a work in progress. And so, you know, both parties have to give in this relationship. and it's almost never 50-50. Let's just keep it 100. It's
Mhm.
almost never 50-50. But I just have a good time, man, and I just thank people for the great things about them. So there's certain things that about you, just we're having this conversation. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm listening to your or watching your podcast. I'm listening to your political views. I'm listening to the things that you're saying. I'm listening to the entire conversation. And what I do, I take from that conversation what's good for me.
Mhm.
I take what's good for me. So
Mhm.
everybody's not just the devil or bad or anything like that. I take the good things that you have to offer and I embrace those things. I'm in control of me. You know, this this is me. So that's how I roll, man. That's what I do.
Well, you're fortunate. Your dad is still around then.
Yes, my dad is still around. My mom passed and she died in 1985.
Oh
Right
wow.
after right after I graduated from high school, man. So she had colon cancer. She was sick for a while, and I didn't even know she was sick for a while. And then she kind of told us, she's like, I only got like 6 months to live. So
Oh my
that was
God.
difficult. That was super difficult. And because she was like, she was perfect. You know, there wasn't anything that my mother did that wasn't perfect. She was just the perfect person. And I can remember talking to my dad, and he was just like, hey, man, because, you know, we were kind of upset with him for a minute. Just honestly, we were upset with him.
Yeah.
But I always gave him respect. And he would always tell my mom, he's like, he always respects me no matter what. But I remember her always saying, that's your father. You got to respect him. So
So
I always,
you had a little bit of a difficult relationship with him when you were younger?
not that it was difficult. It was just the fact that it's hard to explain, man. I had a beautiful, I don't know, man. It's just how I took things. No, I
Mhm.
didn't have a difficult relationship with him. I loved him. I always wanted him to be there more. Now,
Mhm.
mind you, they were married, military, but he was like gone, and then he'd pop up every so often.
Okay.
I'm talking about things that, but he was there, but he wasn't there. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And even
Yeah.
sometimes with my sisters and the conversations that we've had, you know, my younger sister was just like, I never knew, you know, daddy like that. And I'm just like,
Mhm.
what? You know, I remember the good times of being in Panama. And then when we get to Georgia, and then things are a little bit different, but I'm a little kid. But
Mhm.
this is why I always had the utmost respect for my mom, because my mom kept it in the middle of the road. You know, she was probably going through more things than we knew. You know, I was younger.
Oh, wow.
My older sisters knew, but this is what we've had. But I always let my kids know. I was like, I've had some bad times in my
Mhm.
life. I was like, you guys, your mother and I, we've done our very best to make sure you guys haven't had bad times. You
Mhm.
guys have never gone hungry. You've never gone whatever. We've done our best to make sure you guys are good. So,
Yeah.
but being a parent though, we understand. I understand now, you know, not saying my dad was right with anything, you know, but he came and he told me, he said, your mom never did anything wrong, ever. He said, she was beautiful. She was perfect. He said, I was just young and wild. I just was
Mhm.
out there. But when we had that conversation, it meant a lot to me because I had a family. And I was just like, I'm going to take care of my family, man. I'm going to do what I said. I can't be mad with you. I said, my mom's dead, man. I had to tell my sisters and my brother that also. I was like, you guys gonna be, how long you guys gonna be mad? If moms was here, it'd be a different story, you know. I said, but she's not here. And all of us have our own lives and all of us have to move forward and do what we have to do. Just
Are
what it is.
you the oldest?
No, no, no. I'm the baby boy until my little sister came, man. I was the baby, man. She
Oh
came trying
wow.
to mess it up, but I still tell her I'm still the baby.
Because it sounds like you were kind of taking taking the lead in your family. You know, if I didn't hear that
Well,
correctly.
well, you know,
Go ahead.
my oldest sisters, they have always done well. My brother, one of the smartest people ever, you know, he bordering on genius level, you know, but he grew up fast. My
Mhm.
dad wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing. And mind you, I'm not trying to say, you know, my dad is a wonderful individual, especially right now. But
Yeah.
my brother was in a place to where he was talented, where he played football, basketball, all those kind of things, and plus he was super smart. He
Uh-huh.
was super smart, man. I mean, he took all the best class. I mean, I used to look at him like, man, are you taking calculus, man, in the 10th grade, man? What is going on? I was just like, man, I'm not trying to see any of that. I don't want to see any of that. But
Yeah.
he took it hard on how my dad was doing things. So a lot of them, many of my siblings, they really had issues. But like now what you're saying, I get it. Because I did tell them, like, hey, how long are you gonna be mad?
Right.
But, you know, so yeah, that was me. And I
That's
told
not,
him,
yeah, that
yeah,
sounds like an older brother type of thing.
yeah, no. I just told him I just always felt that I was just a different guy. I just had a different perspective about things. And once again, I guess even back then I wasn't gonna let certain things get to me. I can be very emotional. Music is my emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Music does to me what nothing else does to me. Music
Mm-hmm.
is my time machine. When I hear music, it takes me back to certain places and I am there again. I'm standing there, I'm looking around, I'm in the
Sure.
moment. That's just how I love it. So there's a lot of times I just like to be by myself, listen to music, and
Mm-hmm.
just drift off somewhere for a while and just enjoy myself, man. And maybe that was my way of coping with a lot of things. But because we always had music in the house.
Yeah.
Music was always in the house, always. My mom and
Yeah.
dad loved music.
I
Yeah.
was definitely more like that when I was younger. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I have plenty of memories of falling asleep on, you know, like listening to music, you know, late in the evening, you know, before going to bed and just like falling asleep with the big clunky headphones on and, you know, that the album, you know, like the album cover on my chest, you know, and yeah, the music was definitely, you know, my escape when I
Yes.
was younger. It's strange for me though, as much as I still, you know, I still love music, I still love hearing music. It's not the same as it was when I was younger, you
Really.
know? Yeah, I don't know why. Being a musician, it's almost hard to admit that,
Mm-hmm.
um, because I know how people talk about, you know, so many people talk about how music is like the thing in their life, you
Mm.
know, it's like the most important thing in their life.
Right.
And music is something I enjoy, you know, I mean, and I always will, but I'm not I guess it's because I'm not an adventurous person in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, you know, at 54 years old, I don't feel the need to constantly be discovering new artists and stuff like that. Um, I I wish I wish I was like that. Uh, I don't know. I guess it's just being in my own head and being a little bit more introverted. I'm just more kind of, you know, I could sit in just like in a quiet room and almost just be perfectly happy just like listening to my own thoughts, you know.
So
Um
let me jump in there and say something to you. And
sure.
this was a really cool thing. I know for my 50th birthday, my wife got Russell Simmons to send me a message.
Wow.
Man, I cried like a big baby, man. I tear up now. I've not been able to watch that video that all Rich and everybody just sent me something saying happy birthday. It was probably one of the most amazing things that has ever happened to me. It meant a lot to me. It still does. I can tear up right now, so I'm stop talking about it. But the thing is that Russell Simmons said something that was so cool. And you just said what you just said made me think about it. He said, do your best at times, like when you get in your car or you just get somewhere, no noise, nothing, and
Mhm.
do your best not to speak, you know, because he's into yoga and stuff like that. But he was just like, when you're in your vehicle and you're driving, turn the radio off,
Mm.
just drive, don't say anything, don't sing a song, don't say anything. And then he said, you're having that conversation with yourself. And he said, that conversation that you have with yourself is God speaking to you. Man, that
Mm.
said a lot to me. He said, that's God speaking to you. You and God are having a conversation and nothing else is getting in there, distracting you. because you're driving, you listen to music. Yeah, but then when you're just quiet, and so I did that for the longest time, man. I just get in my vehicle and I just drive and nothing. Then I'm just like, I am really having a good conversation. It just kind of opens things up. So when you said that, man, I feel you on that. I can do that also. I hear you. I hear you.
I think maybe it's part of it is just, modern music doesn't do much for me. Like,
okay.
I really, I love the music that I grew up on. And I remember we were doing when I was still in Fozzy, we were doing a show where we were just driving to some place in a van. We were doing like a weekend show, and it was a long drive, and Rich and I were sitting up front, and he was controlling the music, and he had his Spotify on, and we were just listening to old 70s and early 80s like R&B and soul and stuff like that, the kind of stuff, and rock, R&B, soul, the kind of stuff that I used to hear when I was on the radio when I was a kid growing up, and like,
yes, sir,
that music still means a lot to me, and when I listen to music, that's the kind of music that I listen to. And it's a strange thing. If I'm being honest with myself, like, I love music, but I don't desperately love music. Does that make any sense? Like, I talk to people who they're just so kind of obsessed with music to the point where they have to discover all kinds of new things. And I'm just, that seems a little strange to me, but maybe I'm the one that's strange.
No. Well, let me back up and clarify a little bit. I probably have more people that have kept me up on new stuff, because we're not kids anymore. And I'm just like you. I'm definitely not out there trying to find new music like that. Now, when I do find some new stuff that I love, I'll come across some stuff and I'll be like, oh, that's dope. I love that. That's cool. I don't mind embracing some stuff when I hear it, but I am 100% with you. The majority of the music that I listen to is what we grew up on. And I love that music. That's why I always say music is a time machine. My children have grown up and have listened to every genre of music because that's what I love. They have listened to everything. Some of the music has driven them totally crazy, where they say that they'll never listen to that. Anytime they hear that music, they hate it. But I don't hate music at all. I love music, but I am with you. You said Rich was playing that Spotify. I mean, if I hear Journey or Foreigner or Shaka Khan or Stevie Wonder or some Iron Maiden or Quiet Riot or whatever, I can keep going on. Gladys Knight, the Pips. I can go back to where I can listen to 60s music. I can listen to 50s. If it's good, it's good. It's just what it is. Whether it's jazz music or whatever, I don't care. Excuse me, I don't care. If it's good music, I am down for it. But I truly, the 70s, the 80s, come on, man. Come on, man.
That's the thing, is I think music kind of peaked. I think music kind of peaked then, particularly in the 70s, and the 80s too. But like, for some reason, something about the way music, grew out of the classical music that we know and evolved through the early 20th century, and then recording techniques emerged and were improved on, and just all that came together to create the music of the 70s. And it's like, that's the kind of thing, like, stuff that was in the top 40 in the 70s is music that people will be listening to 100 years from now.
100%.
And one of the things that I like to do is on YouTube watch like these reaction videos that people to music and movies from the era that I grew up on. I love seeing some young 22-year-old discovering music and movies that like I came of age on, and and see how they're just like so kind of fascinated by like how great stuff was then. if I watch something on YouTube, like a song, listen to a song on YouTube or a video or whatever, and read the comments, how many people will comment, "Oh my God, I wish I'd grown up then. I wish I'd been a teenager then, when all this was going on." And
Yes.
so I take kind of a level of pride in that, even though I had nothing to do with it. I just realized how fortunate, and you and I were both fortunate to grow up in that era.
Thankful.
The golden age of popular music,
It meant something. It got to us. It touched our soul and our spirit. It captured us in a certain way. It just wasn't microwave music. It was just great. So when I do hear stuff like that now, I'm just like, wow, that's so my son is a twin. So his twin sister, she's like, Dad, when I hear these songs that you used to play, so she can't help herself because she gets it. She really gets it. The other ones will listen to some of the stuff but she gets it. And she's like me when it comes to music, man. She's just like, and she'll send me stuff. She's like, Dad, I was at this place because she's in Atlanta. They're both in Atlanta all the time. She's like, I was at this club or this bar and they were playing this and I knew you would love this. And she'll call me and FaceTime me. She's like, Dad. And I was just like, it's beautiful, isn't it? It sounds great, doesn't it? It was just a great time. And maybe the kids will see their music like that. I don't know. I don't believe so. I just think the music that we grew up with was so much more impactful. It was just so much more impactful because it had so much meaning, whether it was about love or social issues or whatever like that. It was just a different time, man. It was just a different time.
It could be just the grumpy old man in me, but I honestly believe that there's almost nothing excuse me, there's almost nothing that's being produced now musically that somebody's going to be listening to 100 years.
You don't think so?
100 years from now.
I'm a little bit more open about that, but yeah, I don't know.
I mean, first of all, I don't keep up with music, so
yeah.
I could be just talking through my hat, but when I'm exposed to like the music of today, if I'm at the gym and they've got the radio on, or just the stuff you hear in music, movies and TV that's current.
Right.
First of all, because it's so much more. It's all algorithmic. It's all computer generated.
Yes.
Yes. And these days, like there was a time where to make music, you had to know how to make music. You had to know how to play an instrument. Indeed. You had to know how to sing. And I'm talking about even just in the, the era of what we consider classical music now. I mean, you couldn't make music unless you spent time devoting yourself to it. Like the process of learning, not just, and I'm not like anti-technology or anything like that, but the fact that there's so much now, like somebody who doesn't know anything about how to play an instrument of any kind, if they have a little bit of a knowledge on the technology, can, on a laptop, there's, you can create beats and there's all this stuff that you can just kind of take this little, take this little thing here and that little thing there, put it together and you have something.
Right. I've done it. I do it. So I know. Yeah.
And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I don't see how doing that you could create something that's going to like stand the test of time. What music is being produced now that literally in the year, literally in the year 2122, people are going to be listening to, because like Fleetwood Mac and I'm just blank, but something like Fleetwood Mac, or like a Don't Stop Believing or something like that. People are going to be listening to people are going to be listening to that 100 years from now, the way people listen to classical music today.
Right, inspirational. Yeah.
And but I don't see it. There's this guy named Rick Beato who's a producer. Rick?
Yeah.
And I watch his he's got a really popular YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I watch it sometimes. and he'll like listen to like the top 10 of like
break them down,
and break it down.
Mm-hmm.
And God bless him, he always tries to be positive about everything he listens to. He tries to find something positive to say.
Yeah.
And it may be just the grumpy old man in me, but I'll listen to it and I'm like, I can't hear anything positive about, you know, I can't. I just can't. It's like, you know, all the beats are just, I mean, the fact that there's a song that's got like a beat on it that's composed of sounds that are digitally identical to sounds that you'll find on literally 100,000 songs, a million songs.
Yeah. That's
So
what it is. Oh yeah.
I don't see it. I think that music is, you know, I think that music is going through a really, really, really bad time.
Do you really think it is?
Yeah, I do. I really do. And like I said, I could be wrong, but like,
no, it's the way you feel, man. I'm gonna liken you. You could be like a genre snob.
it's not even. I'm not a
genre. Not say a genre snob. An old school music snob. Let me say that. You like what you hear. You like what you like, and you love what you love. It's really that simple, man.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with you feeling that way.
It could be a matter of taste, you know, but
of course.
It could be a matter of a taste. It could be a matter of opinion, and I don't necessarily. I don't say this. Wrong with that. I don't say any of that triumphantly, like, you know, like I'm the one to determine what's good and what's not good. But
hail Frank
literally, I went to the gym yesterday, and as soon as I walked in the door and I heard what was being played over the speakers, I literally, my mood just like went through the floor.
Really?
I was just like, yeah. I was just like, I can't stay. It's like I had to put my ears in because I was just
really?
Like, yes.
Wow. I was
this what I'm hearing makes my soul hurt. I can't take it. Yeah.
I just guess when I go into places, I could be in an elevator and elevator music's playing. I'm cool with it. My wife was having an MRI many years ago now, and she said, this is what she said, because she knows how much I love music. She said, I guarantee you he's out there rapping and singing. I guarantee it. So you ever had an MRI?
No.
So it's the MRI is going boom, 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 boom. And 100%. I was out there like, and she knew it because I sing around the house all the time. I rap around the house all the time. I just love music like that. So not that I'm out there looking for it, but if I would like, I've been in the working out and the music that they're playing, I was just like, oh man, that's cool. Oh, I love that melody. Oh, this was cool. I'm just listening. Not that I'm looking for it, but when I hear something that I love, I can't help it. Whether it's new music, old music, of course, when the old music comes on, I'm just like, yeah, the smile. But if I hear something great, I remember being in the gym and hearing Coldplay come on. I was just like, oh my goodness. Because Yellow is one of my, it's an amazing song.
Anyway. Great song. Love it.
So I'm looking for those kind of things, Kings of Leon or all kinds of things that may come on. Adele, you know, Rolling in the Deep. And there are still people out there making great songs. Still. Not that I'm out there looking for it because I'm into doing my own thing and creating my own stuff. So I don't get as much music as I used to. But there's still a lot of great music out there. There really is. They might not just play it on the radio, you know. There's still a lot of great artists out there doing a lot of great things.
And that's here's the funny thing that it's funny that you said that. Because I've had this discussion with people before, and I'll be honest, it's like a lot of it has got to do with I'm not a fan of hip hop. I'm not a rap fan, and a lot of people who know me, you know, they know that about me, and we've had this discussion before. So, I just now I like there's a lot of like older rap that I like, you know, like that song Miss Jackson.
Okay.
Who is that?
Outcast. Yeah.
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 I think that song's fantastic.
Right.
Love it. I think that's a fantastic song.
Yeah.
I actually had NWA's first album, yeah. And I loved it. I could, cruising down the street in my 6'4", it's like I can,
I'm gonna tell you something about all what you're saying, but go ahead and finish. Go ahead.
So it's mostly modern rap that that's being played, that's current, that has like the trap beats. And I guess, like mumble rap, that people talk about. Like I've heard people who are fans of rap, they talk about, and they'll say, well, I hate mumble rap, that kind of thing. So I get it. And like, I've had this discussion where I've had people say that, like, well, the really good stuff doesn't get played on the radio.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like you have to go look for it. And I'm thinking to myself, why is that? Why is the good stuff not rising to the top?
Well,
and I've had people play me things that were like, listen to this. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I can get behind that. That's actually inventive. That's inventive. It's clever. It's not the same kind of, reproduced stuff that's getting played. And I just wonder, why is it that the good stuff you have to look for? What's that all about?
But you gotta understand as times change with everything, the digital age, social media. The kids are running things now. Music is a young man's sport. It really is. The kids.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Even though, the Rolling Stones and all those old acts can still tour and do things because Kiss can go and sell out still because the music is classic and we still love those things. But the times have just changed to where these kids, excuse me, I can remember asking my son when he was younger, I was just like, tell me something, man. What is it? What's going on here? What am I not understanding? Because, at first I was just like, man, that's trash, man. I don't like that. And I'm going to say this. He let me hear Waka Flocka and Gucci Man. He's taking him to, and there's Atlanta. That's Atlanta. So, because Atlanta has the hip hop scene right now, majorly. So we're driving. I'm taking him to a workout at, he was trying to figure out which college he was going to. He wanted to play basketball. So we were going to a college up in North Carolina. So he was just like, hey, Dad. I was like, play whatever you want to play, man. And so as I listened to it, I was just like, I got it. Because I gave it the opportunity to find out what they were talking about. And so I'd ask him questions like, so what is he talking about right here? What does this mean right here? There's a lot of things that we don't understand because we know what we love and what's beautiful to us. And this is just different. But I'm an open person. So I was just like, I want to listen to it. I want to hear what's going on. Now, so I'll listen to anything. And then I'll know whether I like it or not. I'll know whether it's good to me or not, but I'm going to give it an opportunity. But what I wanted to get to the point that you were saying when you were speaking about Outkast and Mrs. Jackson, the thing about NWA with Dr. Dre and the thing about Outkast, and even the thing with Puff Daddy with Biggie, let me tell you what they did. They took music from the 70s.
I was just going to say that.
In the 80s, and it was already a win. That music was already so good. Outkast had a formula with their producers, the Dungeon Family, with all their albums. It was so soulful. And no matter how much they changed stuff, as from Southern Cadillac Playalistic Music to ATLians and all those other albums, they always kept that soulful imprint with them. Always. So it never veered too far from what the formula was that was working for them. Dr. Dre and those guys, Snoop Dogg and all of them, they used the 70s music. They used the 70s music, man. And it worked because that's what we love.
That kind of hip hop is kind of more even an outgrowth of R&B and soul. It's kind 100%. Of the natural. It's kind of the natural progression, and they used those touch tones. They used the music.
Exactly.
And you can say what you want about sampling, and I understand both sides of the kind of the sampling argument, but at least they were kind of paying homage to what came before by using that music. There was like a level of respect
Indeed.
for that kind of music.
Right.
And you, I would assume you're familiar with the term flex culture.
I don't know. I'm not.
Okay. Well, just because I thought maybe, you being more up on hip hop, and I don't know a lot about it, but
Flex culture.
flex culture. I heard somebody mention flex culture, and I thought it was interesting because apparently flex culture is the whole, like, how many brand names can you wear? How many,
Really?
how big is how big is your crib? Like how many
Oh, you're
Lamborghini,
flexing. Okay, I got you.
like that whole thing of like that, of
Yeah,
flex.
I haven't heard that. I'm old, so I know I haven't heard that.
I just recently did. And
Flex.
and somebody said something about how flex culture is going to destroy the world or something along those lines. But that whole notion of, like, for lack of a better word, showing off
I got you.
what you've acquired.
Right, right,
And
right.
like, you know, it's like, you're wearing all the brand name, you're wearing the
Yeah.
right brand names that
Right,
makes you cool, that kind of
right.
thing. And maybe it's that aspect of it that I'm not crazy about,
No, I
Um,
got you. I got you.
yeah.
I've asked my
So
son about those kind of things also. And what my son told me, he's like, Dad, let me explain something to you. He said, we just want to have a good time. We're not trying to listen to something so lyrical, all the rapidy rap stuff for people just trying to tell you about this or whatever, because things have changed. They just want to have a good time. And there's a lot of things that I don't agree with, but I have to understand that that's their time now, how they look at things and how
yeah,
they see things. And technology has made it so much easier for them to do things.
yeah,
So you know how hard it was to get a record deal? It's still hard to get a record deal. Things aren't easy. And so, but you can go out there and make your own music now and do whatever you want to do and put it out on these platforms. You don't have to worry about that. So it became more quantity than quality.
hmm
But you're Frank Fontsere, and you have the best drum machine that people make. So you're going to make 1 million of these and sell it to all these people. You're like, hey, you love music, but like, hey, I just sold 1 million of these, and I got 1 million more orders coming in for people who want to create music and not have to learn how to be a drummer, to learn how to play guitar, to learn how to read music. It became simple. Now, we must also understand, though, that there are certain people that do that are super talented at doing that. They are great at doing that right there. And so I could give you, so you could give me that drum machine that Frank makes, and then I look at it and I'm just like, man, what am I going to do with this? But then you give it over here to this little 15-year-old kid, and he'll go in there, and he's so he's so IT, so technological, and he will handle that like it's nothing and create something that's really amazing, especially for them that we might not understand. So once again, I have just learned to understand that, okay, that's what they're doing. I
yeah,
had my boy Tony Morton. He went to school for music. He's a music major. He plays the trombone. He's a jazz purist. And we might have talked about this on the show when you and I had a conversation. He's a jazz purist. But I had to tell him, I said, Tony, stop getting mad with these kids, man. That's what they do, man. That's what they love. So he was a band director. I was telling Eric Sanders this. I was like, he's a band director. And so he was at the school and he was like, this is what we got to do. We got to play this. We got to play that. And the kids were like, we don't want to play that. What are you talking about? We don't want to play that. We're going to play this stuff that's on the radio. We want to play whatever. So like Eric Sanders was saying is that the thing was that he had to understand was like, it's a different time. So now to get them to learn what you want them to learn, which is the way you learned, you got to give them a little bit of that.
yeah.
They'll want to do this also,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Like I said,
they'll get it. Yeah.
I understand that all this could be me just being an old grumpy guy. I get it. I could be just the guy who doesn't, who doesn't want the kids playing in his yard. I understand. So, which
get off my grass.
Yeah, I could be just being the old guy who says, "Get off my grass," unfortunately.
No, man, it's all love.
But I've had people play stuff for me. Like I was working a job, and there was this girl that I was working with, and she was I think she was probably 21 or whatever. And we were talking about rap because she's all about hip hop and everything. And
Yeah.
I asked her to play me something she thought was like her favorite, you know.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what it was. It might have even been some Atlanta group or something like that. And she played me the video, and I was just like, I was trying not to be so closed-minded, whatever. I was trying to be open to it, but I was just like, oh. And I think to myself, well, I mean, is that so wrong? You know, I mean,
No,
is it wrong to have a sense of aesthetics and something doesn't appeal to it? I mean, you know, you know, it's just I just there's so much of it that I just my God, I don't get it, man.
You just once again, as I had to learn to get up on stage and see Rich and Sean and Mike and you know, Rodney and yourself and Steve and you know Nails do what you guys do. I really found myself looking at what you guys were doing. I got a different respect for what you guys were doing. How difficult it is, because it's not easy to play and sing at the same time and do, because you have to practice hours and hours and hours and hours to perfect your craft. So I was just like, I got a newfound respect for it. I always had respect for it, but I was like, it's even more than what I thought it was. So I appreciate it, and I knew it. So I'm just like, okay, I got that. Okay, I see that. Wow. But I've always enjoyed the music, and just being up there to have live instrumentation was beautiful to me. You know, my sister played the saxophone. She still does, but she played the saxophone. My sister played Grover Washington's Wine Light. That was what she practiced on over and over and over and over. And I have that on my iPhone, and I will bring that up and I will listen to that because it's just some beautiful music. There's a lot of jazz stuff that I love. There's a lot of jazz stuff I don't love. You know, there's a lot of music that I don't love. I can listen to it, but I'll know immediately whether I like it or not. You're not wrong for that. You know what you like. You know if you like Pepsi or Coke. You know it tastes better to you. You know, it's
There's
just
something
really
to be
it's
said
really
for
that
that.
simple. Yeah, it's really that simple. So you not liking some music, I never have a problem with it. Now I might tell somebody like, because I always feel like I have great taste. And I might be like, man, I don't know how you don't like this, bud. Hey, you're lost. You know, that's just how I take it, and I just move on. You don't have to like it, but my kids are the same way. They're like, I'm not feeling that. You know, my wife might want to listen to some gospel music, and then I might play somebody that's like the hottest artist out there, and she's just like, I don't like that. I don't want to listen to that. Everybody's not gonna like your. I'm gonna use a little profane. Everybody's not gonna like your shit. Everybody's not gonna think your music's a hit. It's just never gonna be that. No matter how hard you try, and no matter if 9 billion people like it, probably 30 billion people that don't like it. You know, so I'll take those people that like it, and that's what I roll with. If this makes you happy, good. I'm not worried about the people that don't like it. I'm not worried about it at all. But we all have different perspectives and opinions, and I just respect that. That's all I do. So you're not wrong at all. It's just what you like.
Yeah,
it's simple as that.
I hear you, man. Well, you know what? We've been talking for about an hour and 50 minutes, and I think you very eloquently gave us a good place to maybe.
No, we're not stopping. We're continuing to go on. Let's go. Go get your drums, man. Let's make a song right quick, man. Go get your drums and play something, man. Let's just do something off the cuff.
Oh, man.
No, man. Listen, thank you very much, man. I have nothing but the utmost respect and love for you, my brother. I really do. I love what you're doing. I love the conversations that you're having. Continue to do what you're doing. Really, I mean, I'm looking forward to Monday to do it with Chris. Pause to have a have a conversation with Chris. And I have another guy tomorrow. Listen, man, I'm telling you, I'm having so much fun doing this. Continue to do what you're doing. Once again, the friends episode was so great also. I learned so much and paid attention to that, and I just was like, that's amazing. That's why, because I hit him up. I wasn't following him. I said, let me go follow him. And I just said, like, hey, man, that was amazing. Yeah,
Thanks,
I was like, that was amazing conversation. I like the way you guys were going, because you and I had talked about it, about what you were going to do and how, your opinions about whatever. I know I'm extending this. I'm taking that.
No, dude, it's all good. Listen, I'm not. When I said that, I wasn't trying to cut. I wasn't trying to cut it short or anything. It's like it just felt like kind of a natural place to maybe wrap things up. But dude, keep going.
No. I'm just messing with you. I just wanted to big you up and applaud you and tell you, keep doing what you're doing. It flows freely with you. I love it. It's going to be a great thing. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, man.
And it's love, man. It's all
thanks,
love.
man. I appreciate it.
I think I'm happy to be here, man. Anytime you want to come on and talk some noise, because I can talk some noise now. We really want to get busy. I can really hold on. I can get wild though.
Well, man, I really I appreciate you jumping on with such short notice, and we'll definitely do it again, man, and hopefully we'll cross paths here sometime soon.
We all, man, we got to talk about some drumming stuff, man. I might need you here soon, man.
Well, dude, anytime, man. Just let me know. I'll be glad to do it.
Indeed, because we got some things going on right now. So indeed.
Yeah, well, please, man. When you need some drums done, call me. I'd love to.
Indeed, man. I appreciate you, bro.
All right, take care, man.
Love, man. Be good.
See ya.
All right, peace.